Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Purpose. Today's guest is the fabulous shaman Sondra Bailey. Sondra, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First, very easy question. Where in the world are you?
I'm outside of Birmingham in the United States, in
Wonderful.
Alabama.
Proper South, that is.
That is right. The South, the Bible Belt.
Wonderful. Well, I look forward to learning more about what you do. Now, first of all, very simple question. You are a shaman. That to me is quite an exotic thing. I understand that also you have Native American origins. Are the two connected? Is this what sort of shaman are you, and how did it come to be?
Yes, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and in my family, we are Porch Creek, which is a type of Native American here in Alabama. And I had known my family's origins from the beginning, but I had no idea that I had gifts from that until I was attacked by black magic and we couldn't find anyone to help me. And that's when everything started spiraling forward.
Goodness. So let's start with black magic. So that obviously Hollywood, TV portrays it in a very certain way. What is your interpretation of it, and what does it mean to you, and how would you explain it to other people?
Black magic is very common, and a lot of people don't know about that because we're not taught. We're not taught in school or religion about black magic. Black magic can start it usually starts over a disagreement. For example, a case I had the other day was an animal, a dog had urinated in their neighbor's yard. So they went and hired someone to do black magic on them. When someone does black magic, they gather your information, like your name, where you live, and then they take it to a dark practitioner and they begin the workings. The workings could be something as simple as a sour jar. And that's why they'll take a jar and they'll put lemons, vinegar, the person's name in there, and sometimes urine. And they'll burn a candle on the top to keep it charged. And that type of spell is souring someone's life. And it greatly affects that person's life.
How, for those who, I mean, this is quite new to me as well, how would you know if that's happening in your life? Because people might go, well, that's just bad luck. It just happens, right? Things go wrong.
What'll happen is it'll start off mild. Like for the example I gave you about the jar, someone in the beginning would just see their life changing. Oh, I didn't get that job that I applied for. I went to go to school to try to get in. That didn't work. And then it's like when everything is closing the doors on them, that's when they stop and think, okay, what's going on? This is not normal. So they would contact someone like me who would walk in the spirit world to look at them to see if it's on them. Because if you're able to see in the spirit world, you can see the magic on that person.
Right. And how bad can it get? What is the escalation with this?
It can be as simple as that. The level underneath that would be a freezer spell. And a lot of people do that spiritually. And what they do is they put your name in a bag of water and then put it in the freezer. And that's supposed to freeze your life. So you can go from a level like that to the level of what I had on me. Before my awakening, I was crippled with black magic. I was a registered nurse. I couldn't walk. I was bedbound, and I had gone to 6 of the leading hospitals in the United States, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And I didn't even know what black magic was. Now, in my case, they had actually put things inside of my body. And I was inflamed all over and bedbound, and I couldn't see good because they'd put needles in my eyes. So that's the most extreme that it can be.
So you're talking to me what sounds like what we would, like in Hollywood, say, like voodoo doll kind of stuff. So that's a real thing.
Yes. And in the United States, they have this saying that they say, if you don't believe in black magic, it can't harm you. And that is not true. I'm from Alabama, which is a very, very small conservative state. And I grew up in the church and continued in the church. And a lot of people would tell me when I found out what it was, if you don't believe in it, it can't harm you. That's not true. Because I didn't even know what black magic was, and it crippled me.
How do you know, based on that sort of reasoning, do you know how it's able to hurt people?
Yes.
So is there like sort of an energy thing? Is there just, how does it work?
Okay. So one thing that people can do is they can put a net on you. People that do black magic, they can make nets. Let's say a net of insanity. That's a common one. So what they'll do is the dark practitioners will have their spirit guides make a net. So then they'll come in the spiritual realm and put that net on the person's energy field. If it's a net of insanity, that person is going to start feeling very mentally unstable, anxiety, hearing voices, depression. Another one that they use is a net of poverty. They'll put that on you, and the energy is so strong that you'll just start losing money left and right. And another net that they'll do is a net of destruction. And that affects that person in so many different ways, physically, mentally, spiritually. And
Goodness. What? So you had this awakening then, and what was that? Was that a progressive series of events? Was that a moment that something happened?
with me, I got attacked very young, and the man that attacked me was actually my fiance. And it kept going and going. And what led to the spiritual awakening when I was bedbound and I couldn't move, couldn't work. I lost my house. I lost custody of my son, everything. And a nurse, my normal nurse that came, didn't come. It was another lady. And she was an African American. And when she looked at me, she told me that I had black magic on me. I didn't know what that was, to be honest with you. So I researched it. And then she came back another time and told me more information. And that's when I started trying to find people to help me. And 30 people later, I couldn't find anyone. And then one of my friends told me to Google a shamanic practitioner, and I found her. And she let me know what was going on. And she let me know that I was a shamanic practitioner and that this was my lesson. I was going to have to figure out how to deal with this because she couldn't,
Oh
because
wow.
the dark practitioner in Colombia that did this to me worked with reptilians. So the reptilians had to be removed from existence to even get to me. So when she started doing shamanic journeys to see who I was, she found out my guide was Archangel Michael, and he gave her a sword for me, a spiritual sword. So I used that sword on the reptilians, which turned them to dust. And then after that, I had to learn through trial and error. Took me about 2 years, but I got there.
Wow. And so what's been interesting to me then is so the Archangel Michael, obviously it's a Christian figure, but
Mhm.
you have it in what we consider a non-Christian spiritualism. But obviously there's a nice symbiosis going on there. So did that surprise you in yourself, or is that a common sort of overlay of the two?
No, I was shocked when I found out he was my guide, and I was very shocked when I got my sword, because as that unfolded, I ended up I'm a warrior, and I actually have soldiers. I'm a commander for Archangel Michael. So a lot of those things happened to teach me. So all the schooling and everything I went through did not help. The training that I got hands on from what was happening to me was hands down the best training.
And that was through the Archangel Michael and the spiritual world.
Yes.
What, so many questions. What does the spiritual world look like for you?
The spiritual world, it's like there's a whole life there. There's schools, there's different type of beings. You've got jinns, and there's all different type of jinns. You got light beings. You have the Palladians. They're my favorite. I have a lot of them on my team. Have you ever heard of them, the Palladians? They're these advanced light beings, and they're very beautiful. But they come
Oh
here
yeah.
to Earth a lot to help us. So you got the light beings, the dark beings, and then you've got the jinn. Now, with the light beings and dark beings, majority of the beings fall into those two categories. The ones that are in the middle are jinns. Jinns are made from fire, and you normally hear about them in the Middle East, because that's where they originated from. But with them, it's a little bit trickier. You have good ones, and then you have ones that are in the middle, and then bad ones.
And how do you get to the spirit world? Again, from
Mhm.
movies, we see like meditation, plants that you drink or eat or something.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So I teach people how to go into a trance. So what we do is we learn to get into a deep meditative state. And then I'll come in the spirit world to that person and help them relax and disconnect. And then we'll cover our eyes, because when you cover your eyes, it helps you see. And then we'll put on music like drumming that keeps them in the trance. And then we state an intention before we go. Like, here's a good one. An intention to go to the upper world, let's say to meet Archangel Raphael. Then we go into a deep trance and we'll travel there and come back.
Can anyone do this?
Yes, yes.
Ah. Why don't more of us do this? It's because we don't believe it. Do you
Yes,
have to believe it to be able to go type thing?
it makes it easier
Right.
because I
Okay.
have people that are kind of, not really 100% sure, and it takes them a little bit longer than it would to someone that's open.
And would it be really obvious that you had gone once you got there?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, I figure it must be, but like
Mhm.
just trying to, work it through the world that
Yeah,
I understand currently.
yeah. And
Um,
people will be like, "Well, I only just saw a flash." That's how it starts, and then it
okay.
builds after that.
Fascinating. So, okay, so you had this awakening, you had this experience. So how do you use your shamanic skills now to help other people? What is your mission with other people?
My main mission is breaking black magic and demonic being removal. I do healing, I do all other types of things, but that's where I have people that come from other countries for me for that.
And is there a lot of crossover when you say demonic removals? I'm thinking of exorcism in the church again. Is that a similar, not saying similar methodology, but the similar kind of negative, evil
Mhm.
energy being? It's the same kind of
Yes.
principle.
Yes. Hmm.
And how, again, from your worldview, do demonic possessions happen because of black magic, or do they just happen because someone's an open channel to such things and an opportunity is taken? Is there a range of reasons?
Yes, there's both. I just worked on a case that lasted a while about jinns, and the dark practitioner had done black magic, and she opened a portal in one of the chakras and was putting jinn. She would shrink them down and then put them inside the body. That's one way that it can happen. And another way a possession can happen is you have contracts, because what people don't understand is everyone has contracts in this life and past lives with dark beams. For example, if you like mess around with a Ouija board, that makes a contract. And then once they have the contract, they have that physical authority to be there. And the possessions are not like what we see on TV, like the exorcism with the head spinning and vomiting and speaking different languages. I've never seen that ever. They always stay quiet. They don't want to be found.
I mean, like I do not watch horror films or do anything like that. I think there's enough real things in the world to scare me without creating ones to
That's
scare me even
right.
more. But when people engage in these activities like Ouija boards, for example, is it a subconscious contract? They're obviously not necessarily aware that they're making this contract, I'm guessing.
Hmm. What happens is when they use the Ouija board, the spirits come in and then they start speaking with them. And that makes a contract, because
Interesting.
the spirit will ask them a question like, for example, do you want me to speak with you? Do you give me permission? And then they'll move it to the yes. And that makes a contract.
And I suppose there's no time limit on that question, is
Mm,
there, right? So do you want me to
no.
speak to you indefinitely?
Mm-hmm.
Funny. Fascinating. And so how do you align, or how do Alabama, Bible Belt, as you said, how do you align the juxtaposition of the shamanic spiritual with Christianity, which obviously both are very important to you? And
Mm-hmm.
how have those around you sort of taken on board your awakening, and how have they responded to that?
With my Christianity, because I am a Christian, I just believe in God. And so I'm a warrior for God. So that's how I connected. Like, my
Hmm.
purpose here is to free people and to free the world of darkness.
Oh,
And
lovely.
so I have soldiers. So what we do once a day is we go out and we clear dark beings from the United States. And that helps that day, but we continuously do that. Now, to tie that into my spiritual awakening, it was rough. It was very rough. No one understood me. It really freaked my family out. Um, and it scared a lot of people. But
And
once they saw everything finish, like I had
mm,
no more black magic, I was back healthy. After that, people accepted it.
that's wonderful. Why? This is probably a really silly question. If there are black magic practitioners in the world, as they are, why can't we sort of arrest them like we would for any other crime? Like, because basically what you're doing is a violation of a person, right? However you
Exactly.
do it. But
Exactly.
is it just because people don't believe that this is a thing, therefore there's no crime per
Hmm.
se?
It's hard to get the evidence because they'll never reveal what they use, and the sickness that they put in the people, it comes across as physical sickness when really
Mm.
it's spiritual.
And how does modern medicine, so obviously you had this lovely African American nurse who kind of recognized it in you, but again, it's not mainstream medicine. There's going to be a lot of people going, no, just go and see a doctor, take these pills, do whatever. Is there, do you see because I see in medicine now there is a more more acceptance of what we'd call more of the holistic therapies. But we're talking about, the psychedelic mushrooms. We're talking about different forms of therapy here. We're not talking at the spiritual level quite yet. So do you have visions of, do you know people who work with the medical community in their shamanic roles to try and help with this
Yes.
battle?
And I've done this too. When I was doing my nursing, I actually worked in a psychiatric ward.
Hmm.
And a lot of times those people that are hearing things in their head, they actually have a spirit attachment. They're not schizophrenic. Because if a spirit comes right here beside you and then connects with your chakra, you can hear them. And so a lot of people think that they're a schizophrenic when really it's just a spirit. And I've worked on people that once I cleared them, they started getting better.
Amazing. And again, how do you have to go to the spirit world to see if it's a sort of a black magic demonic thing? You can't just see it in this world.
Now I can, but when I
Right.
started, no. With
Okay.
practice, like I can close my eyes and I can see spiritually in your room and it's
That's
all
a
clear. It's
little
all
bit
clear.
scary. Good. Good to know. So does that freak you out though? Again, I guess you've got so used to it perhaps, but I think I would, I have only Hollywood to go on for this stuff. And the closest I can think of is like the Sixth Sense with the boy seeing the dead people or,
Yes, yes.
and that must be a bit intense when you're not used to it.
Yeah, the reptilians was like the worst for me, and that was like
Hmm.
my first trial. I had to get through that first, and it was rough. It didn't go over in just one day. It lasted about 2 or 3 weeks.
Goodness. But what happens if you didn't make it through? Like, would you have been basically got worse and worse and worse?
Yes, yes.
Seems a little
They
bit
had
rough.
put me on chemo,
Oh, wow.
because of the body swelling.
Goodness. And so after 2, 3 weeks, kind of you got through it, you fought the reptilians, and then how much longer did it take for you to get better? Like when was the physiological changes that doctors could see? When did that happen?
About a year. Because
Okay,
I had to go in there and find everything that they put in me and remove it. And some of it
goodness.
was so highly advanced that it was by ETs that it took me a while to find it.
And
But it
but
taught
also,
me everything that I could ever need.
I bet. But also, I just find it crazy. I mean, like, the world is full of people who are unpleasant, but like, why would you do that to someone? Like, what possesses a person to be that cruel in
Yeah,
whatever form it takes? It just blows my
exactly.
mind.
There are some people that are really, really evil and that they enjoy hurting other people. And another reason is about money. Like if someone's having a hard time, I don't mind, doing free work or discounted work, but they
Mm.
do not. It is all about money with them.
Crazy, isn't it? And I always think money amplifies who you really are.
It
And so
does.
if you are generally a nasty person, money ain't gonna solve that one. So you mostly work now with dark magic and this possession stuff. Do you have a vision for the work that you're doing? Do you have a sort of a path that you want to take it? Obviously, you're talking to me, so we're talking about it more, people can hear about it, but what do you see that ongoing purpose and vision to be?
I want to continue spiritually awakening, helping people and giving them the tools. That's what I do now. When people come to me for learning, I give them all the tools that they need to be successful. And the first step I like to teach everyone is how to protect yourself because it's important to do that for yourself and for the children. Because the way that the times are going right now, the darkness is going to continue, but it's not to fear. We were born for this, and we're in a great spiritual awakening also right now. So that's my contribution, is to give them the tools to protect themselves. And then after that, about how to heal. So I teach how to protect and then heal.
And you say we're in a great spiritual awakening now. Why is that, do you think?
Ever since 2020, the frequency on Earth has lowered, and it continues getting lower and lower. And what that does is that draws more dark beings because of the lower frequency, because they feed off of that. And what that is doing is that is forcing the ones with the gifts, the light workers, to step forward. Because what'll happen is they'll keep getting attacked until they reach out for help. And then when they do, I see a lot of them. And when I do, I find out that, oh, they're a warrior or they're a healer. Yeah,
So what we're seeing then really is so the frequency is lower, so the dark forces can feed off that more, but they're
hmm
going for the people who have the skills to stop them
yes,
essentially.
that was it. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so therefore they're reaching out for help. And goodness, it is almost like a film, but real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the people who have the skills they're trying to stop them, but actually because they're getting attacked, they're getting more aware of their actual own powers.
Mhm.
Hence, fascinating.
Yeah, I had
I
a
mean,
7-year-old kid
oh
2
wow.
weeks ago. Yeah. And his mom had contacted me because he was getting attacked at night. So I did a shamanic journey. And in shamanism, if you have a question about anything, you do a shamanic journey and go to the upper world to get the answer. So when I went to find out about him, he's a warrior. So at 7 years old, I talked to his mom. She's like, okay, we're going to get this done. So I have a meeting with him and I meet him once every 2 weeks and I showed him how to clear his house. So now at 7 years old, that's what he does.
Man, when he grows up, he's going to be unstoppable.
Exactly. That's what I told his mom. He is fierce.
Gosh. And also, I mean, and again, I can't imagine the things that you see, but to see that at 7 and know you can fight it and know that you are stronger than it or able to overcome it, and that sets you up for a whole other way of being, right?
Exactly. I was in shock.
I bet you were. Gosh. So is he the youngest that you've dealt with?
Yes.
Who's the oldest?
Oh, that's really this. I love this. I met a woman that was 78.
Oh wow.
And she was she had a really spunky personality. She called me, and when I was talking to her, she said, "Look," she says, "I don't need anything else." She says, "I need a weapon." She said, "I've got things here in my house, and they keep attacking me." She said, "I don't need your help. I just need you to give me a weapon." So I was like, "Okay." So I talked to her about Archangel Michael's sword. I came into her house, gave her her sword, told her how to use it, and I stayed there and watched because I was curious. She took them
Oh
all
wow.
down. Within 20 minutes, she was finished.
How does she feel after that?
My God, she was so excited. She said, "I've been waiting 50 years." That had been going on to her for 50 years. I can't imagine that.
And so I guess if you have this innate skill that hasn't been awakened, what might be a symptom that this is happening to you? How might you know to come to someone like you to get this awakening? Are there
The
clear steps?
healers, a lot of times their hands will burn. And what that is their healing energy is stuck there because the chakras are closed. So I get that a lot from the healers. They'll come to me and say, "My hand continuously burns," and it's because they're a healer, and I have to open up their chakras and activate the healing inside their arm. Let's see, we got the healers. All right, we got the grid workers. I see a lot of those. I'll have people that tell me that they've had dreams about weaving things in the air, and those are grid workers. So let's see. Okay, I've got people that can travel backwards and forwards in time, and they'll tell me that they'll just be in there walking around day to day activities and feel pressure pushing their body back or either pressure pushing their body forward. And I know when I hear that those people can travel back and forth in time.
Wow. What about to say you're listening to this and you don't relate to any of those
Mhm.
things, but you're just curious. What would you recommend as sort of the first way to explore this more?
Get your guide. Find out who your guide is because your spirit guide tells a lot about who you are.
And would you do that through contacting a shaman like yourself to go on that
Mhm.
journey?
Yeah. And you just do a shamanic journey and you find out who their guide is. And then I bring them back to them. And then I teach them how to bond with their guide. Because one thing that a lot of people in the spiritual community don't know is you have to bond with your guide. And I do a whole video on that. And you have to give them permission to stay around you and to communicate with you because they're going to guide you. So you'll start out with a guide now, and then later on, as your gifts change, another guide will step forward.
Can you do this online or do you have to be in person?
No, all my work, like 98% is from a distance, remote. I've got
Amazing.
people in different countries. Yeah, it's so amazing. I love it.
And I guess, do you have a vision of, do you think there could be a time when these skills aren't needed? Will there ever
Yeah.
be a time when we can overpower the dark stuff?
Yes, yes. So what's going on is like I told you, when I gather information, I go to the upper world. I don't listen to here. So what right now is going on is the way that stuff is spiraling. It's meant to be that way and it's going to continue. And we're safe It's just pushing us, because when Jesus comes back, he is the only one that can kill the Antichrist. Once he does that, the whole new world comes. There won't be any darkness. There won't be the things that are happening right now. And we're close. We're very close.
Do you have a feel of how close that is? Are we talking years, decades, months?
Years.
Years.
Yeah. hmm
Interesting. And how are you preparing for that? What is anything, you're doing?
So I have soldiers, an unlimited number. So when I go to sleep at night, we travel to the spiritual war. There's a spiritual world that's happening in the spirit realm. And when Jesus comes back and kills the Antichrist, you're going to be able to see it in this world. So what I do every night is I go when I go to sleep and I help. Me and my soldiers go and we help fight for the light.
You're not tired by it also like existing in both worlds? Do you
It
ever
is.
get sort of run down and overwhelmed?
Yes, yes. But what's so amazing is when your spirit is out here doing things, your spirit body, it can take so much. I mean, if I told you the things I did, you would be in shock. The only thing that I notice when I'm dealing with people is when we go to sleep, we astral travel. If you come back into your body too fast, it can give you muscle spasms. So you'll wake up feeling like, oh my God, like I've been beat to death. And that's from
Goodness.
coming back in your body too quick.
Interesting. That's amazing. And if you, is there anything you can do as a regular person to just keep yourself protected in general? Like, again, thinking of Hollywood and different, garlic for vampires, but is there
Mhm.
something along those lines that you would recommend people? Is that all just made up?
No, definitely. When I leave my home and I'm traveling down the road, I can see all the dart beams coming in and out of people's homes, and it's a lot. So what I tell people is you don't have to have any gifts to clear your home. So you want to keep your home clear. And what that means is no demonic beings or no deceased spirits. Deceased spirits are spirits that did not cross after they died because of fear or because of shock. So what they'll do is they'll hang around people, but they pull their energy. They feed off of your energy. So people feel exhausted and tired and run down. That is that one scenario. And then the other scenario is dark beings. So what anyone can do is close their eyes and say, in the name of God, I call in Archangel Michael and 77 of his warrior angels to remove any dark beings that are in my house right now. And then it's gone. But you
Amazing.
need to do it every day. And you have to say, and this has nothing to do with religion, you have to say in the name of God, because that's the only word that has spiritual authority. Like in Arabic, it's Bismillah. In the name of God is Bismillah. I forgot the other two, the Spanish, but that has spiritual authority. So nothing can come through to trick you. Nothing.
Can it be that, so say I was to do this, but my husband doesn't believe it or doesn't think about it? Can your partner or can your, people you live with almost counteract that effect? Or does it not matter as long as one person in the house is doing it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. One person can do, and that's common. A lot of the women, majority of them that I work with, their husbands and them don't believe in it.
Mm. It doesn't matter, basically.
Mm-mm.
Once again, women are doing the hard work on behalf of men,
Yes, that's the truth.
isn't it just? So, Sondra, it's been really interesting. How can people get in contact with you, find out more, just reach out to you online? How can they do that?
Shaman Sondra on Facebook, Shaman Sondra on TikTok, and then online, www.shamansondra.com, YouTube, Shaman Sondra. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, I'll put it all in the show notes, but thank you. This has been really interesting and very educational. And I wish you well on your journey, and I look forward to seeing how things go. But I do
Thank
suggest that anyone reach out to you who has these worries, definitely.
Yes, I'd love that. I love meeting all of you.
Thank you.